Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Raymond Wu. We're continuing our discussion with Mrs. Andrea Wu, the new president of the American Chamber in Taipei. Andrea, we know with the new president and also a new administration taking over, in Mr. Ma Ying-jeou's leadership, since May of 2008, there's been a lot of changes in cross-strait relations. Certainly there's been 6 agreements signed, starting with the weekend charter flight, now to the full reality, full scale, the 3 links now becoming a reality. And also we have established mechanism on security, on food inspection as well. So with all these significant progress in cross-strait relations, how is that impacting the American businesses and corporations in Taiwan? I suppose it's in the positive direction, but how exactly are those impacts felt among your membership in Taipei?
Well, AmCham's members are very, very encouraged about this relaxation and the direct links. That definitely making the travel much easier, and the people and to a certain degree the currency flow much easier, and that will reduce, that translate into saving cost, right? So all our member companies definitely it's welcoming this this change, and I think it's also it's for Taiwan's benefit that some of the company can use Taiwan as a springboard to
into China.
Yeah, into China and operating at a regional level. And Taiwan, in many sense, I think it's more advanced and easy to do business.
A lot more transparent.
That's
also.
right. That's right, and stable. The policy is more stabilized. So, so I think it's also for Taiwan's own benefit. Now everybody can enjoy this convenience.
And have you sensed among your members that there's been a change of attitude towards Taiwan and the role that Taiwan can play in their regional operation? Can Taiwan again become a potential regional hub for many of the corporations operating in Taiwan?
I will say this actually is still at the early stage. We're hoping that in the years to come, you will see the slow involvement. But very unfortunately, right now, everybody is still in the midst of this, dealing with this financial crisis. So you probably don't see a very immediate and very strong reaction to this relaxation. But I think it's important for Taiwan to position itself. Right now, all countries probably very involved with their own domestic problems, which Taiwan should be also. But meanwhile, each country, I think you need to position yourself and looking at the longer term, which we don't say long term, but it's a longer term strategy. So when this chaos is all over, we say, we hope probably in 2 years, it will be gone. When everybody come out from this chaos, where are you? How is Taiwan going to compete with Korea, with Singapore, with maybe Malaysia or Indonesia then?
Or even Shanghai.
Yeah, or Shanghai. So I think, I hope the government here do not just all bog down by solving the
current
immediate problems. You really need to have a strategy to look into the future. And don't let the political issue just determine.
Become another hindrance.
That's
again. Right. I know for a fact that the full-scale 3 links has been an issue that's long advocated by the American Chamber in Taipei. Certainly, there has been a ongoing debate within our government, within our society, even as you know, about when and how much of an opening up to China, how much of a benefit would that actually bring? I suppose this is, like you said, at the very early stage of the opening up to China. We can't really tell with any level of precision as to how this policy, open up policy, will actually yield the benefits that we anticipate. However, I think by making Taiwan a lot more accessible, not only in terms of air links, but also shipping and also mail services and things. I think it certainly adds to Taiwan's attractiveness as a destination of foreign investment, of foreign operations. We're thinking of establishing a presence in this part of the world. Has that been the general consensus, not only among your members here already, but also on your trips, going back to the U.S.? Government officials, would they also share such an assessment that with the opening up of Taiwan to China, that will make Taiwan a little more attractive in terms of as a investment and operation destination for companies?
Definitely. I think there's two folds. One is ease of the tension between China and Taiwan definitely is the international players want to see, because otherwise it could be a hidden
conflict.
bomb,
Yes.
And then secondly, Taiwan is such a small island. You need to really create value for yourselves.
Exactly.
On its own, I think it's probably this pie is a little too small. So if you have a good linkage, and especially with a very natural cultural background of Taiwan and China, I think the linkage really creates a lot of value for Taiwan. And it's if this linkage comes much earlier, this impact will be much greater. But I wouldn't say it's too late. I'd rather say better late than never.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that goes to my next question, is in the sense that a lot of people felt, like what you just stated, that if the opening up to China could have happened 5-10 years earlier, the impact, positive impact on Taiwan's economic development and growth would have been much, bigger, and also would have made Taiwan that much more attractive for foreign investment, or thinking of, setting up a presence here. And but the fact of the matter is that it didn't happen until December of 2008. And like you said also, that is better late than never.
Right.
But now that 3 links is a reality, and a lot of people still think that the best times might have gone and passed Taiwan. And would you agree with such assessment? Because people often bring up financial institutions, for example, that may be next on the agenda. If the two sides does sign the financial MOUs sometime in the spring of 2009, that the financial institutions of Taiwan could go on and to the mainland and set up branch offices, and vice versa. And if that happens, people felt, if this happened 10 years ago, the impact, the benefits would be much greater, for Taiwan financial institutions. But today, it's a lot iffy. Would you agree with such an assessment that Taiwan might have missed the boat, quote unquote, in terms of how China's economy just grew, exponentially in the last 10 years?
Well, I'm optimistic.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't say we missed the boat. Of course, like we said, if it comes earlier, probably greater impact. But there's no turning back, so there's no use to talk about
to cry over spilled milk.
That's right. And but we should learn lessons from what we have done in the past. I think there's always new opportunities, and given China today is more established country, it's more advanced. Maybe it's easier to work with China. But next year, this spring, I think the both sides going to talk about financial services MOU, exchanges, the MOU. That's very important. Taiwan has a plan right now, hoping to become one of the Asia's financial hub. And without a linkage to such a big economic power, you cannot become a hub. So you got to find a way to work with China and embrace that, the economic body and to make you yourself stronger. So I think that MOU, everybody is watching, and how that development will go. So I think that's a very important step.
Yeah, and also one interesting point you raised earlier about a lot of the American companies and corporations are thinking of partnership with Taiwan companies to explore the China market. And also we know that China under the Hu Jintao leadership certainly made the expanding the domestic market a top economic priority for the year 2009 and beyond. Do you think that partnership would become much more viable now that the world economy has slowed down and people look at China as the next engine of economic growth, not only for China itself, but for the world at large? Do you think that partnership between U.S. and Taiwan companies will become much more plausible, given the international circumstances?
I certainly think so. I think when the domestic opportunity is lessened,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's naturally that the company or a country will look elsewhere
yes.
to look for opportunity, especially Asia in the next decade. Everybody is convinced this will be the focal point to for growth. So I think definitely there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Okay, and also one other thing we're looking at is possibility of the Taiwan businesses that are already operating on the mainland and coming back to Taiwan to go public or set up, operating facilities here as well. I also think that will be another area of potential opportunities for American companies here in Taiwan.
But let's not miss the boat this time.
Yes.
I think it's very important. Timing is everything.
We got our tickets ready. Yes. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Mrs. Andrea W, the new president of the American Chamber in Taipei. And we're going to talk about the U.S.-Taiwan relationship under the new president, Mr. Barack Obama. I'll see you in a little bit.